So with today's Trend Tuesday, I want to do something a little bit different. Usually I go over every kind of fashion trend that I'm seeing, whether it be chunky sneakers, whether it be puffer jackets, but whether it be something along those lines of just clothing trends in general. Usually I'd just love to talk about that, but today I want to talk about a marketing kind of strategy and trend that I've been seeing throughout the whole fashion industry, and honestly really frustrated me this past week with some of the recent drops. So without holding anything back, let's talk about that trend. Trend for me is brands not releasing the pricing on their stuff before it drops. Now I don't really know where it started, I don't know why it started, but you know, I will say one thing right off the bat is that it works. So why do I say it works? Why would I say that I'm irritated and at the same time say, wow, this is such a great idea? Well, the first thing is it gets me to definitely be on their site, ready to go at whatever time they said. So really, like, the main person of why I made this video was Richie Lee with his new collection, the Richie Lee collection. What started off as kind of a rebranding of Chinese clothing really has turned into Richie developing his own clothes for his channel that kind of fits exactly how he likes the style and everything. And overall, the collection I actually thought was really well curated. I didn't really feel like there was a piece in that collection that really felt out of place. Everything there felt like something Richie would actually wear himself. And honestly, I respect that guy 100% with the brand, and anything I say from here on out has nothing to do with the brand, the quality of the clothing, or any of that itself. The one thing I do have a problem with the whole drop was for pretty much every other collection leading up to this, he said the prices of every piece, what it was going to be at, when it was going to drop, you know, the whole 9 yards of the clothing drop. But for whatever reason, this drop, he kept it really ambiguous. People kept asking for prices. You could check his Instagram, the YouTube, you could check everything, and it all kind of just said the same thing, was, hey, this is great, but what are the price points? A lot of Richie's channel was built upon the fact of cheaper alternatives to more expensive items, and a lot of the collection is cheaper alternatives to more expensive things. You can look at the denim from this past collection, and he says it himself, is they're pretty much what he loves in a St. Laurent pair of denim. And I can almost guarantee you the flannel hoodies kind of came from looking at stuff like Represent, or kind of like brands that are kind of doing that where they're charging like $300 to $400 for stuff. And you know what? Having cheaper alternatives is a great thing. But the problem for me came when you're having your denim, you don't want to announce the price, you don't want to say anything about it. I get it, you want to build hype, you want to go and build it that way. But for me personally, if I knew that after shipping, after tax, after every other fee that went into it, including my time to make sure I'm up that early and ready to go, I wouldn't have done it. I wouldn't have been there. I wouldn't have been on drop day. Just wouldn't have cared, honestly. So how much were the denim? Denim was around $120, $130 after tax. They retail for around $98, and you had to add $10 for shipping, so immediately $108. Then you had tax on top of that, and you're going around $120 for a pair of denim that I think are made in China. He hasn't said exactly where they're made. And for me personally, I think $120 is just too much for something that I can't try on. There's not gonna be a return on it. Who knows if a resale is actually gonna be there for a YouTube, basically like a merch drop, not really merch, but like a YouTube collection. But going back into the Richie Lee point of things, you know, $120 might not seem a lot to people. Some people were in Instagram being like, you're too poor to afford that much. And for me, it's not about being poor. It's not about being like any type of way financially. I own expensive denim that costs way more than $120, but it came with a few things. One, it came with a return policy that if it didn't fit me, I could just straight up return it, no questions asked, I get all my money back. Secondly is I would probably be able to feel it in person. I'd be able to go inside, kind of try it on. If it's at a Nordstrom, you'd be able to try it. And then the third thing is I know that the quality and the control have been there for years. Looking at something like an All Saints pair of denim, I know that the fit is probably gonna be around the same every time. Maybe there's some differences between colors and what have you, but that was like the main thing for me. And when I look at it, $120 for a pair of denim, that really could get you a John Elliott pair of denim that retails for close to $400. And then when it goes on to flash sales, it's gonna be around $150 to $180, give or take a little bit. And mind you, you're paying $30 more, but what is that $30 getting you? Well, one, it gets you that made in Japan. Two, it gets you Japanese denim. and 3, it gives you just a really amazing wash that people want, like Richie Lee, want to replicate. And again, this isn't a bash at anybody in particular. This has just been something I've been seeing in the industry, and it's just a marketing technique to get people on their websites on drop day and get items sold out. I think the amazing thing about these different YouTube brands, something like 100 Thieves that I personally love and did the same thing with this collection, when you look at something like the Richie Lee collection, every kind of brand follows the same things of kind of trying to be a little bit more ambiguous with pricing. Like basically the strategy that I see all these brands using is they're using hype, first of all, for all their drops. And secondly, they don't let you know any of the numbers of how much they're gonna have. And then you're basically making them make an impulse purchase at that point, to where you don't know if stuff is gonna sit, if stuff is not gonna sit. And at that point, you're so invested in the piece already that, let's be real, you're not gonna care if it's $100, $50, $150. You're still probably gonna buy it just for that simple fact that you're so invested. You don't know if it's gonna sell out because of the scarcity behind it. And I really think that that's what happened with this collection. And honestly, I'm kind of mad at myself for wasting my time this Saturday on that. And I thought I'd vent a little bit about that and kind of just like the different marketing tactics that these brands are using, and just for you guys to be aware of it. Usually, if you're asking for pricing and not giving it to you, probably more than it should be, and it's more than what they would want it to be. But let me know what you guys think of these drops where they're not presenting the price, they're being very ambiguous about it, they're not really wanting to let it be known except for right before the launch, or not even at that point, and they just want you to go on the website and buy and not really think about the price. Thank you guys for sticking around this video. This has been a Trend Tuesday, although a Marketing Trend Tuesday. If you liked what you saw here today, I suggest subscribing down below. Usually videos are a little less ranty and less of me just kind of being mad about something stupid like pricing of products. But if you did like what you saw here today and you're new to the channel, subscribe down below. If you liked what you saw here today in general and you're already subscribed here, I would suggest leaving a like down below. Really helps out a small channel like myself. And I hope you guys all have a great day, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace.